Hey Pat, Dan here. I wanted to get right back to you on this because I think it's important. And with all these nice arrows pointing to this tree, that it's inescapable that it's the center of interest now. But I want to explain to you what, and of course, everyone's entitled to their opinion in art, and the way that they think that the human eye works. I'm just going to tell you my thoughts on this, okay? And I think it'll really help cement it into your mind, about this whole thing about eye path and center of interest, right? First and foremost, I think the most important thing to understand is how what draws our attention as humans. So first, the things that we're drawn to are things that are bright, kind of bright and shiny. In other words, we like things that are bright, and we like things that are extremely colorful, right? Those are things that grab our attention. And then there's a few other things too, is we like things that are different. Sort of like if you had a bouquet of white roses, but then there was a red rose in the middle of it, where do you think your eye's going to go? Or conversely, if you had a bouquet of red roses and you had one white rose in there, where do you think the eye would go? Right? It's just our eyes are drawn to certain things. Sort of like if you paint a nude, it doesn't matter how you set it up, the breasts will generally be the center of interest, because that's the way humans are. That's where we have a tendency to look. Or if you look at a clothed figure, the face, it's almost inescapable to not have the face be the center of interest, because that's just, as human beings, what we're drawn to. Well, so in still life painting or landscape painting is a little bit more forgiving than still life painting, but nonetheless, the things still that we're drawn to are bright things and colorful things. It's just the way our eyes work, or things that are different. So you would have to really work hard to make this tree become the center of interest, and that's because most of it is middle value, middle color. In fact, most of it is dark, right? So if you kind of squint down at the tree, squint down at your painting or at this video, okay, and you'll see that the tree almost disappears, because it's not that much different value from the background, and it connects to this dark, and it's just not compelling enough to become the center of interest. And that's no criticism of the way you painted it. You painted it beautifully. It's just not the way our brains work or our eyes see. And all these, and you have beautiful movement through your painting, and no doubt about that. But it's just not going to work, because it's not bright and it's not that colorful, right? Now, let's say that you were dead set on making that tree the center of interest. How would you do it? Well, first you'd probably have to eliminate most of the dark and just minimize the dark shadow, and then have this part be nice and bright and colorful. And then you would need to de-emphasize all of the color everywhere else in the painting. You understand? And that's a really, and then that would be the center of interest. And that's really an important thing that I see in people's art a lot, is that they try, and I'm not saying you did this, but a lot of people will try to paint every square inch the best that square inch can be. And while that's good for that square inch, it isn't always good for the painting. You see what I'm saying? So on another note, let's talk about our friend the zebra. The zebra, is this big majestic animal, but he has these black and white stripes. And those black and white stripes are to make him appear invisible. They're to make him to camouflage him, right? Why? Because it's supposed to look like everything else, and it breaks up the light and the shadow pattern, so nothing really stands out. It's kind of the same here. So the more camouflaged, or the more your painting center of interest looks like everything else, then the less it's going to stand out. I'm going to attach handouts on advancing receding elements, but it's really the same thing. Advancing elements is still the same thing as what we're drawn to. Look it over and let me know if you have any questions. I hope